Sanibona emakhaya igama lami Scelo Ngubane. I'm an inspirational speaker. Today we have our guest, Usis Eni. Please introduce yourself.
Sanibonani, igama lami ngaziwa ngomama Eni ke mina ke
Yes.
wakwaMabuya. I am a life coach, a social worker by profession,
Yes.
and a child and youth care worker.
Thank you so much. So we've been talking about mental health and all these subjects. Please, let's break it down now. What is mental health for a layman like me who's sitting at home and asking, yini kahle kahle le mental health?
Uma kufanele ngichaze kalula ngalendlela ukuthi noma ngabe ubani ayizwe ukuthi uma ugula emzimbeni uya kadokotela kusho ukuthi umzimba wakho kunenkinga ngomzimba
Okay.
khona into engahambi kahle
Okay.
so umzimba wakho uyakutshela ukuthi ngepain ukuthi khona okungelungile kumina then you go to the doctor.
Okay.
So it's health. So you go to uya kudokotela to look after your physical health.
Okay.
Bese udokotela uyakutshela ukuthi phuza lokhu udle lokhu ungenzile.
Yeah.
That's your physical health. So it same applies with your mental health. It's when ingqondo yakho ingasasebenzi ngalendlela ekufanele kube ngakhona. Kunezinto esethu kunoshintsho olukhona olungabangelwa izinto ezihlukile. Kodwa lokho kusho ukuthi nawo kusho ukuthi umqondo wakho udinga usizo. Njengoba uya for udokotela kusho ukuthi nakhona khona okuthikamezekile khona okungasahambi kahle osokudinga usizo.
So, and we spoke about the stigma that is also associated with mental health. One of the challenges about mental health is you don't want to admit to saying usizo because of the stigma. Ubizwa ngehlanya manje. You feel like I'm ashamed ukuthi abantu bazothi azisathi mzala, and this not ayikho indlela enhle yokubeka indaba yokuthi we need ukuthi maybe the stigma. How do we make sure that the stigma associated with mental health really ceases in our communities?
Yabona uma sithatha njengalendlela engishoyo ukuthi uma isandla sigula, umzimba ugula, you need help.
Yeah.
Uma ngabe ubona ukuthi awukho right spiritually, you go to the church. You go to church or wherever la uthola khona your spiritual upliftment, right? It same applies. Your brain nayo gets tired. It gets overwhelmed, right? Kunezinto ezifika zibe too much for you. You cannot handle it because you are only human, right? So uma ungakwazi sikwazi understand ukuthi uma ingqondo yakho isifinyelele kulelo zinga lelo because of whatever is going on emotionally emoyeni wakho ukuyabona kumele uwazi ukuthi isikhathi sokuthi manje asicimeni engine and let's get help.
Wow.
Just like your car needs service, right? Your brain needs service.
Wow.
And we don't think of our brains like that because we are constantly running this engine. We're thinking, we don't sleep, we stressing about certain things, we worried, anxiety, we worry about what's going to happen tomorrow, what am I going to eat now, and all of that. We worry about what people think of us. Sometimes we even put a lot of pressure on ourselves because of what people think and feel about us and things that we can't even control. We don't have control over that. But we don't see it like that. Sibona, uma ngizoqhamuka ngithi, I'm not okay emoyeni. Uzokwazi ukuhlala nami uthi, ini, whatever. Mangithi inyawo lami libhlungu, thatha amapanado, hlanganisa ini. But uma ngafika kuwe ngithi, hayi man, khona into engayizwa kahle, angikho sharp. I'm not well. Uzobuza ukuthi yini inkinga ngithi yazi ngizizwa ngiphansi get depressed. The minute I say I'm depressed, you're thinking kunenkinga. So it's no longer let's talk, it's depressed kusho ukuthi unezinkinga
Inkulu
lo bhekane nayo wena. And we don't even think that whatever that ngibhekane nayo, it comes from outside. And then it affects what's going on
in the
inside.
Yes.
And then it gets projected through my behavior.
Yes.
Right? No, we don't think like that. We think there's something wrong with you. You as a person.
You're causing this thing to yourself.
Causing all these things. Usene depression, unenkinga. So we label it ngaleyo ndlela ukuthi umuntu uyasaba ukuphumela obala ngoba ucabanga ukuthi there's something wrong with me.
I think also the confidentiality of why are we not respecting people's mental status or health status? Wonke umuntu sekayazi ukuthi hello une-bipolar. And you ask yourself, was it for the public to know that why are we not respecting certain things, in a society where umuntu angakwazi ukuthi abe nesithunzi sakhe even though
it's a condition.
Particular condition, yes. We are unable to ukubona umuntu beyond their behavior. And I think the stigma in our society needs to cease. I mean, when you look at also the number of people that are committing suicide in our society, you realize ukuthi see society eqhelelene, though we may look like we are close, but
we're not.
No, we are not.
We live in isolation.
Yeah.
Right? It's about a strong sense of belonging and support. Uma ngabe ngicabanga ukuthi I am wanted, I'm needed, I belong. It helps with my mental health.
Yeah.
It helps with my sense of well-being and sense of self-worth because I'm wanted. But the minute I'm not wanted because of what I'm going through, because I was diagnosed with depression, because I was diagnosed with anxiety, because I have bipolar, because I have conduct disorder, you name them.
Yeah.
Ngenxa yalokho ngisaba ukuthi isilwane singaziwa lesi. Uma ngizokhuluma ngayo, you might not accept me. Ngale ndlela obungi-accepte ngakhona, umuntu makake wakhuluma, uma ngikhuluma nje sikumamela ngithi every day sicela uyakhuluma. Umuke wathi ebantwini, I suffer from depression. Do you know what it will change a lot?
Yeah.
Everything you say now, yes, everything now you say, it's like, hi phela bipolar, bipolar. Even when you are being you are just being you, and you want to be accepted just the way you are. It makes it very hard now to break through these walls because people have already labeled you. It's like, for an example, I always make this example, ngengane enaughty. When you are being told, hey, lo mntwana walapha uyaganga, stout, right? You've never met this child. You are being told to stout. Umengena la, what are you going to do? You're going to move your glasses. Because now you are being told to go to naughty. So what do? You expect that behavior. And this child is going to give you exactly that because this is what you're going to pick on.
Okay.
Noma ngabe mhlawumbe azondlula achayise isitulo nge-mistake. Usuzo associate nani? Vele ustoti lo. So people with mental health illnesses, they are also too scared to disclose because iphuthabile ngayenzona noma ngabe ubani. Kubona liba hayi phela.
Exaggerated now.
Yeah,
yes.
And then nayo lamagama ukuthi zincinci. With young children who are low functioning, zincinci, we call them about zincinci. And then mangabe awukho right sithi zentringa uyahlanya. Ukuyabona siyakubona ukuthi kunoshintsho lenzekile empilweni yakho because of whatever that has happened. Life happens. We all go through stuff in our lives.
Yes.
And we all get depressed at some point. But umehluko ukuthi some of us are able to snap out of it because we are aware. So when you are not aware of depression, you are not aware that you are falling into depression, then you do not give yourself permission. And therefore, it takes over.
So information is power.
Information is power.
Yeah.
When you are informed and you know about emotions and that they're emotionally intelligent.
Oh, yeah.
They can identify emotions and they know how to deal with these emotions. Right. Those people would know, you know what? This situation could trigger depression for me.
Okay.
My dad passed on. And I know if I want to feel depressed, I just think about my dad. I just pull. Your brain is like a video archive.
Okay.
Right? It stores information. And your brain does not know iqiniso namanga.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't. If close your eyes, imagine a snake, a very big snake. Your mind will see the snake. And most likely your body will react to that. Uzosaba and say, whoa, So, umangabe, I want to be depressed. I can pull that file.
Wow.
The exact date when my dad passed on. And I will see exactly what I saw feel what I felt, smell what I smelled, hear what I heard. And then I will fall into depression.
Because, sorry, the way the situation is perceived from your mind.
It's
so your
programmed
mind,
like
your
that.
mind, you're like saying it's a video.
Yes.
It depends on what you want to play for
On
that
what you want to
particular
play.
mind.
Yes.
Because one of the challenges that I think I wanted to advocate for was that why ngati mangabe there is death or a loss of someone, since we know these are triggers of serious depression, that we can have about prevention better than cure.
Yes.
I think this thing of venting to our neighbors, our family members, sorry, it causes depression.
Yeah.
Why are we not having professionals, declare South Africa, social development is giving social workers to grieving families, because that is where a lot of ills then emerges, because manje section I breadwinner la endlini.
Yo, so njani.
Senza njani. So you need someone ozothi ingqondo yakho ayikho wrong for raising that
It's
question.
okay.
It's okay to
It's
feel
normal.
like that. Yeah. So there's much of treatment
Yeah.
and reacting. We don't prevent ukuthi
Yeah.
senze njani as a society mase kunje. During the COVID, baningi abantu who have lost their loved
their
ones.
jobs as
But
well.
we losing their jobs, of course. But you find very less in terms of the program finally ezokhuluma ngazo ze mental health ukuthi kuba ngathi si expect ukuthi abantu they must survive.
Will be right. When there's ushintsho olukhulu olwenzekile empilweni yakho. Mara we just expect ukuthi qhubeka. Sukuma. They'll even tell you ungakhali. They will tell you umvalela indlela umukhala. But what happens to all these emotions? It's normal to cry.
Yes.
It's normal. It's a normal reaction to khale and break and grieve. Like I said, grieve. It's a process, and it's different from one person to the other. Akukho iqala la iqina la. We all grieve different, and abanye abantu they grieve for years. Abanye bagrieve isikhashana esincane and they bayaqhubeka, but it doesn't mean ukuthi sebamkhohliwe lo muntu loyo. There are moments where they go back to that file, they pull the file and they go through it again. So ukuthi abanye abantu bayakwazi to snap out of it, abanye abantu they cannot.
You know, interestingly, because when I discuss with some of the groups, they will say, yeah, umngani wami uhlabangani the time ngishonelwa ubaba was not there and utsho ukuthi ubaba, but also he was close to him in a particular level, and nayo yamgrivela ngendlela yakhe. But I'm evaluating mine, because any into that is dangerous about the pain is that umuntu in pain normally they are self-consumed, they are sensitive. So I think we need to also make awareness to say omunye umuntu angavana dube ahamba uhlala kude and say mangilaphayana ngicabanga kakhulu ngale situation. It doesn't mean those people do not care. In fact, ukumbona, I love the analysis yama FS8, but in an accident lo memezayo wogcina ngaye qala ngalabo abathulile to say sorry, the way we address the situation also affects or is affected by our own ignorance. So we end up wanting to be expert ukuthi why ungakhali. Why ungayenziwa 2 and 3 as if we want that formation ukuthi phela umuntu oshonele kumele abe so, umuntu oshonele kumele abe kanje, and if you don't succumb to those standards, then there is questions around you. That's also zabo mama bathi indoda yakho uyibulela umbonile noma khala ukuthi hayi man lesililo lesi so umuntu obulele.
Yeah. Oh, umbonile bekathi serious kanjani? Akakhalanga ngisho inyembezi nyana A1. And we actually don't know what this person is going through. What I want to say out there is that we need to be kind to each other. Kindness is free, you know. And to some people, it gets interpreted as love. So let us just be kind, because we don't know what the other person is going through. So let your interaction with people be intentional. Don't just jump on just kaleni and just use your own assumptions. People are okay. People are not okay.
Wow.
You know, and it will only take kindness for one to understand what the other is going through. You might be sitting at Texini with somebody who just lost a loved one. I used to drive. Uma ngima kasongibuka abantu baseteksini, ngibahalele. Who say they don't know what I'm going through, the pain that I have, yokushiwe, yokulahlekelwa ubaba wami. But also I would think they're probably going through their own. Imagine if we are all kind to each other and we just learn to listen to each other. And when I ask you, Guti, how are you? You're obviously going to say, I'm fine.
And people are not fine.
And people are not fine.
Even when they say I'm fine,
they're not fine. Something we are not, I always say, all of us suffer from mental health. Uguti, it's on different levels.
Yeah.
Yabo, ihamba ngama levels lento.
True.
Uguti, okwakho sokuze kwafinyelela like tennis bone corner where you need medical intervention. Okwabanye kusese, under control.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean we don't go through that. Because if you will sit here and tell me you've never been depressed, you've never been depressed.
True.
You've never gone through a traumatic event in your life. You don't have to go through them yourself. You don't have to chase a motor for you to be traumatized. But you witnessing somebody chase a motor could be very traumatic to you.
True.
Right?
True.
So if we could just learn to be kind to each other and just think, when I drive and somebody just drives uncut and instead of being angry, I think, I wonder what is he going through. And I then say a little prayer, Lord, just keep him safe wherever he's going. Instead of being angry, because you are angering a situation that you have no control over.
Yeah.
You are cursing and swearing at this guy who is gone already, but you are left with these emotions. It feels like sometimes we give people remote controls over our lives.
Yeah.
We let them determine ukuthi sifile kanjani, nini kanjani. So imagine if we all kind.
I wanted to come to this subject. People use this word badge of toxic. Hey, toxic, we bad. And it's a new pandemic. And I want to maybe go into detail. What is being toxic really? So kunyangani.
When I think toxic, I only think toxic waste. Oil. And that is why the minute we put labels.
Oh yeah.
That's when
so it's one
the
of the
problem
labels
starts.
of the society we are using today. Yeah.
If your friend is forever complaining, is negative. Mawufika kuye kunokuthi athi hey Scelo yazi ngibonena ithuba lokumsebenzi lana, I was thinking he's sitting and saying hey akho umsebenzi, hey umuntu uyahlupheka, hey oh, he's always down. You run away from him. You don't want to go to him anymore because you are saying he's toxic. But is he toxic or is he going through stuff? So what he's telling you is telling you what is happening inside, basically.
So we just label what we don't understand. Because I ask myself about this term. When do you say a human being is toxic?
Why is it like that?
Yeah.
What is that is happening empilweni yakhe that makes him speak like this, behave like this? So I think we should be like curious. I wonder what is going on, man. This person is always fighting.
Yes.
It's like he seems to be so angry. I wonder what is going on that makes him so angry.
And Utoluguti, you have a solution to this person if only you can find out what is it that they're
going through. Maybe you should just sit and say, Scelo, I've observed ukuthi uma ungena endaweni unokwenza so. This is my observation. And to me, izwakala ngathi ibukeka as anger. That's how it comes across to me.
Yes.
Like you're angry. What's going on? Maybe he's not even aware. But instead of doing that, instead of trying to find out, not saying you make me angry, but saying I feel angry when you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So you separate the person from the behavior.
You separate the person from the behavior.
Yeah.
This is the behavior that we have a problem with, not wena.
Because I look at most of us in the society, which there's a story of a young man who was called Usipho Skebeng.
Yeah.
And he became that, I think, almost all his life because he had this thing of, I'm being labeled as a Skebeng. What else can I do?
I might as well live up to that expectation.
The name you give to people, actually, if I call you toxic, then I'll only have toxic experience with you.
Exactly. And I'm going to be as toxic as angazi oil engene emanzini olwandle, because that's exactly what you expect of me as well.
Yeah.
Nanoma ngingasekho toxic sengikutshela iqiniso, awungeke usalibona lelo qiniso lami because you have already labeled me as toxic.
So, 3 things that I researched about cause of depression. They say number 1 is loss of a loved one. Number 2 is ending of a relationship. The third one is ukuphela komsebenzi.
Yeah.
And you see, the third one, I was shocked really, because I always assumed ukuthi ukuphela komsebenzi awuzothola omunye. I mean, the reason why usebenza is because une tool that maybe somebody else will need. But really, out there, abantu baba depressed after ukuphela komsebenzi. And we said earlier, it could be also because of what they call their work. This is my life. This is who I am. So imagine umuntu makuphela life yakhe, into ayibiza ngokuthi life. So maybe we also need to be careful of what we call certain things, because they really take a particular meaning to our hearts.
Yes. You're very right. The meanings we attached to situation or izinto, yizona ezidetermine how we're going to react towards lezo zinto lezo.
Wow.
Uma ngabe ngithi my children are my life, I've attached such a strong meaning to that. It's life. It means uma omunye wabo angaphuma endleleni, I'm done, because that's
your
my
life is out now.
So if we umsebenzi wethu kuyasiza khona, angifuni ukukhuluma manga, for mina kuyangisiza ukuthi the meaning that I've attached to what I do is, this is my purpose in life. This is what I was born to do. So imagine if that is now being taken away from me. Ngisele nani ke manje, because it's taken away. Fortunately, mine will never be taken away, because human beings are all over. They're everywhere. If I can't find a human being, I'll look after an animal and make sure that animal is okay. You know. So, but I'm saying, ukuthi, unemployment is real. Unemployment doesn't just affect the employer or the employee. It affects the family structure, the community, the nation, the country. If one person gets employed in a family, uyawazi umehluko oyenzakalayo lapho. I'm just making an example ngathi futhi isizwe esinsundu. Uma ngabe uJabu akhona ukuthola umsebenzi, kwehlisa umthwalo omningi kabi ko wonke umuntu,
including hopes.
Umama uhamba tshela wonke umuntu useyasebenza phela. Useyasebenza. There's so much attached to that. Ukuthi yazi uya-achieve, uyaphila, kukhona kwenzayo, une purpose. And ngaphezu kwako konke, nanoma ngabe imali incane kanganani, sicela kunabantu abasebenzela imali encane, mara uzosuka akudrive agibela ama-taxi ekuseni aye 4 ways. Uthola ukuthi 90% yesalary yakhe iphelele emgwaqweni kuma-taxi.
But ulanga
ngisebenza. Kunalento about you feel useful, like you are purpose driven. You wake up in the morning, there's hope ukuthi izinto zizoba right. And then bese you take that away. That sense of purpose.
And belonging. You spoke much
belonging.
About I belong there. Mangifake neskipasa like the company needs.
Yes, bayazi ukuthi sengifikile, you know. You belong there. And you spend most of your time there. So there's that sense of identity. You identify yourself as uzibani. Umuntu mawumbuza manje ukuthi ubani, angeke umuntu akutshela ukuthi mina nguMadlakovo wayenzani. I am.
Oh yeah, your profession.
Yeah.
But the question is, what do you do for a living? Apart from breathing, what else do you do?
What do you do?
Yes.
Yeah, because society kenzele lokho ukuthi we are being accepted for what we are more than who we are.
Oh wow!
I don't usually tell people what I am.
Okay.
I don't.
Because they must experience.
I don't tell you ukuthi, hey, unless wena ngoba ungichazela ukuthi fanele ngisho ukuthi ngiyini, then I'll say I'm a social worker.
Yes.
You know, with the mental health awareness event esibhizi ngayo, I decided to do it via a church, my church, Faith Christian Center, because I felt good the church needs to be involved. Mental health is not it's everybody's business, right?
It affects
everybody. And if we are saying we have churches and churches must be utilized by the community, but because they belong to the community. I'm trying to move away from Lamasonto Africa Monday, Sunday, no, churches are supposed to be used by the community
from Monday until
Sunday. So churches can contribute exceedingly with mental health. These young people who are unemployed, and yet there's a church. Why don't you just open up your churches? Let people come in. Let young people come. Run holiday programs. Run workshops on whatever, job hunting skills, whatever. It's a resource in the community. So hence, I said to my church, no, I so expect about to come to God. You know, our God needs to be in action.
Let's go to the people.
Go to the people and let's say to the people, this is what we're offering. Let us be relevant. Right? Let us be relevant. Mental health is an issue where, what are we saying as a church regarding mental health? Because people get depressed right in church.
Yes. Because and now they always maybe sometimes feel like it's a punishment from God.
Exactly. When we go through stuff, we want somebody to blame. Some of us blame God.
True.
Why did you let this happen to me? Why did I get raped? Why did I experience this trauma? And church is then the right place to say, it's going to be okay, to bring hope. Because when people are down, they lose hope. And people need something to pull them out of that darkness. Medical treatment only plays a certain role. Doctors will prescribe antidepressants, but talking makes it better. And abafundisi mabahlale bakhulume nathi.
Wow.
Right? Angithi they are serving.
Yes.
Mabahlale bakhulume nathi. Let them be available. I can walk in and say, even if I don't belong to this church, but I have access, I can come and say, I'm not okay. So the plan is that after we're done with the mental health awareness thingy that we have, we are now going to train leaders and say, venue isondo, and we have people and the community can come anytime. So we're going to give basic counseling skills.
Wow.
Because everybody is a counselor. Uhlezi la ungimamele nje. Umama wase next door is a counselor. So ukuthi mela afunde certain values ukuthi uma sengikhulumile nawe ke mama, confidentiality.
Yes.
Ungasayindlulisi ke indaba yami mayiphelele la. But also she needs to know how to contain, how to deal with your emotions as she's listening to you.
Yeah, because sometimes they bottle them. Omunye ugcine affect also in the future. So in the awareness of what is happening in the country and all the negativity that is around, I think it's an opportunity for us to look inside. Kids in schools are bullying. And all of that, I always say it's a tip of an iceberg. We don't know what they're going through.
Exactly.
We've been advocating that at least let's have one teacher, one social worker per school. Because even teachers, they are human beings. Can't you go through so much? And maybe the way abantwana barespond triggers a particular behavior. I think we are not giving enough a room for people to be able to vent. So, like we said, it's pretty remote. You can't be telling us to say
no.
And we are no longer abantu. Maybe we're bringing back that thing of let us be more kind. Let us be more of Ubuntu. Let us be more open to one another and more than at any other time, because people are going through a lot in our time.
People are going through a lot.
Yeah.
Young people don't believe good children can suffer from mental health, and they do. Abandona, they suffer from mental health as well. I think most of the children that we have admitted in our institution, a lot of them have mental health. They were diagnosed with mental health issues. So we have more kids on medication. If this child is 7 and is already on medication, 15.
Yeah.
And it's because we do not care. Ngibeka budlaba, and whatever that means to you out there. But I feel ukuthi we only focusing on us and what we're going through, but we do not think about the other person and what the other person is going through. And because when we are faced with your problem, you think it's bigger than any other problem. And therefore, you have every right to be selfish and focus on you. But remember, you cannot live in isolation. Akekho umuntu ongaphila nje ayi-one, umuntu ngabantu, so uyabadinga abantu. So ingane esikolweni, they need to be debriefed.
Yes.
A lot of violence happens. Children are exposed to that. And who debriefs them? Children lose their loved ones emakhaya. And what do we do when somebody dies ekhaya? Uma wakhe uyashona bamhlebele. We don't even tell this child that your mom is gone. Uyabona umama kabuyi, and we make up stories. Usaye kuphi kuphi, uye kamzala, uye kuphi kuphi. Uyabona umntwana, people are walking in. They're crying, man, labantu laba. Kenzakalani, something is wrong. But no one is taking some time to say, Tabang, sekwenzeke into nje. As if they don't understand. We treat them as if ingqondo zabo can never comprehend.
Yes.
And they understand. You'll be surprised what children know and what they can comprehend, especially about the concept of death. Even when ubaba elahlekele umsebenzi, engage your children. Angithi they were part of this. They saw ubaba waking up every morning, going to work and providing. All of a sudden, we do not tell them ubaba is unable to provide. They never understand.
I think I like what you're saying with the kids being told. One of the things that is important to explain your own family first and sit them down, because remember, they used to maybe brag. Remember now, they also need to be at the level of how to respond to those things.
Yes.
You say, manje ekhaya self-employed, because there's always, I always say, it depends what you call your situation.
Yes.
I'm not unemployed. I'm self-employed because as much as what I'm doing doesn't give me a salary, it gives me fulfillment, which means there's something that you're gaining from what you're doing. That if singakwazi lento okhulume ngayo lento ekubizwa ukuthi emotional intelligence, ukuthi manje asifakeni umqondo lesimo esigoa through sona, because we if we take it as a situation, we'll overcome it. But if we accept it as our reality now, ukuthi hayi sekubhedile manje la endlini vele kudliwa ikati leleziko and all of that situation might not be able even to transform. So it's important that uma ngabe uphelele umsebenzi, sit down with your family, especially the close people, ukuthi sekubhedile ke manje ngidiliziwe emsebenzini besazi abo bedilizwe ukuthi sengidiliziwe, which means useshone phansi. So if also kunomuntu osedlule emhlabeni, let's sit down also as a family.
Let's talk about it.
You know, and have that discussion.
What happened?
Yes.
You know, children walk around not understanding what happened. Kuthiwa baze bamamela itori ezinye ngaphandle nezinye ngaphandle. But ubaba wakhe lo ushonile. Akekho umuntu ohleli naye phansi wathi ubaba useshonile. And what does that mean? Ukuthi useshonile.
Wow.
You know, what does it mean kuwena mntwana? What does it mean kumina umuntu omdala engitshela ngaye ukuyabona ukuthi usendlulile, useshonile? Ukuphi kenzakalani ngaye la ekhona? You know, and try to answer those questions as honest as you can.
Wow.
So that umntwana gets to understand ukuthi, you know, there's a child uhlale next to us keeps asking my mom ukuthi umkhulu kanti uphi? Mom keeps saying ushonile. Then he comes back and he asks again, ushonile, because he was not there during the funeral. He was not there makwenzeka konke lokho. So my son obekade ekhona, I told him no ubaba umkhulu ushonile. Wathi ushone njengompura. Cabanga umkhulu wami. Umkhulu wathi ushonile njengompura. So umkhulu nakunobompura khona. Because he understands the concept ukuthi akasekho ukushona kusho ukuthini, right? And then I said yes. Wahamba waya ngale makafika ekamereni abogogo bamtshela ukuthi umkhulu uthenga igesi. Then he came back to me and said, "Whoa, ugogo akazi ukuthi umkhulu yephi. Please go and tell ugogo ukuthi umkhulu ushonile." And this is one child osizayo with our healing process because he understands. And he now refers to umkhulu as was. Umkhulu was a good guy.
Wow.
So ugogo is struggling with this little one what's next door. He's the one who's saying, Gogo, yazi uthini kulo? Uthi kuye ufile. Ungathi ushonile. He's 5. And he's understanding the language. Gogo, you're using a wrong language. Ntshela ukuthi ufile.
Because also language is limited.
It's limited. So when you say ufile, this child will associate ukufa nesilwane nani. So ufile. So when you say ushonile, this child doesn't understand. Ushone, right? So that's one part. When you now, it comes as a shock, vele ukuthi you've lost your job. So a lot, you go through so much. Ngizophila ngani, ngizobanika ini, abobani kuzoyenzakalani. And ngaphezu kwako konke, it says, abanye abantu, they take it to labathi khona, then who am I? Now that I don't have my job anymore, what does it say about me? What is my position now? If ubaba
manager,
even endlini kufamily. Now what is my position? Phela we give people position and power, right? Based on imisebenzi yabo.
Yes.
And we do that. How? Uzban phela yilo phuma TV. Uyibani uyi Now when you don't have that now, and we consult with you when you have that. When you have a job, you matter. Umalume ongasebenza akavama ngokubizwa kulezi ndaba ukuthi malume asihlale phansi masekuvela
nokuthi imbuzi ezohlatshwa imhlophe or injani aba
uyathunywa loyo
amoyithenga ke manje. So your value.
So losing your job is not just about income. It has a lot. You know, now you're sitting here, you're thinking, when I do trainings on gender GBV, I also look at gender stereotypes.
Yeah.
And it is, and the whole thing of patriarchy and all of that. But also, we always say, Ubaba is a provider. For me, I feel like that needs to change. We need to change that. We need to change the way we see umhlaba. Because umhlaba ushintshile manje. Emzansi, umungangena lemizi loqale lapha uyofika lapha, you'll find that mama manje who are working.
Yes.
Abo baba basasebenza. And what does it say now?
About the provision.
About the provision.
He sees himself as a failure.
As a failure because now he cannot provide. But I mean, wait. The very same baba wakes up and helps out endlini. Umamume hambile, he's the one who makes sure supper is ready when she comes back. You know, the very same baba is the one who helps kids with homeworks.
Because also the stigma, so the patriarch, like you said, if you are a man, you're expected to provide. But in
reality now, you can't afford to be that man anymore.
Yeah.
You can't afford to be thinking like that anymore because you're going to be self-destructive.
Yes.
Because of the belief systems. So these beliefs are becoming limiting now. Right? Because there are women who would still love you because uyakwazi ukuthi ubani. You know what I mean?
So your job does not define you.
It doesn't define you.
They can find you even noma ungasenalo umsebenzi.
And still respect you.
Yeah.
You know, there are women who are like that, who will still give you indawo yakho. Noma sekazi ukuthi sofa seka-decidile ngalo, but he will still come and consult. Knowing ukuthi izoza isalary, you know, lelo sofa lizophuma again. But she will still say, Baba kaibani, bengicabanga ukuthi isikhathi sokushintsha amasofa. What do you think? But because nanoma ngabe usizo selukhona, you will sit in your corner and be depressed. I've seen men who go through depression because they've lost their jobs, even when there's food on the table every day. Even when there's clothes. Umama azamile ukubamba awabhalansisa, but they don't see it.
Because they're blinded by the definition of
I must provide.
Wow.
Abo makhelwane bazothini manje mina sengiphuma ngikhaphana nabantwana esikolweni so kuyime ngikhipha inyama efrijini izinto zishintshile. Yebo zishintshile. The sooner you accept that, the better.
I think the process of acceptance is a challenge.
It is a challenge.
Because you want to unravel. Sometimes that's when lies start to manifest themselves. Hayi ngisasebenza noma ngasasebenza hamba etown umuntu atlalilanga lonke mayebuya because now phela inyanga uphi awukho uzuboleke nemali yokugibela kodwa awusebenzi. And I believe that we need more of you to really break all of these stereotypes and social ills that we are facing with. Can you maybe give advice on the mental health and also the workshop that you'll be having. Just say more about it as we are closing.
Yeah. I just want to say with your mental health matters, just like your physical well-being, your spiritual well-being, your emotional well-being, if you want to put it like that. Your mental health matters. Take some time, rest, look after your brains. You know, uma ingqondo yakho ingasasebenzi, they will say you are invalid, meaning that nothing can operate when this is affected.
Yeah.
Your emotions, nothing, because remember there are neurons in your brains that shoots messages nonstop to help you function, communicate, do whatever that you're doing. So your brain is an asset.
Yeah.
Don't look at it as something that you because you don't say it. Eat healthy, rest, look after yourself. It is your responsibility to look after you. Nobody else can look after yourself better than you.
Wow.
I know we want money. We're living with, fast lane.
Yeah.
We must produce. But once this shuts off,
All of that is doomed.
all of that is gone. So take some time to look after you. Go for a service. Go for a service.
Service yourself.
Service yourself. Book a session with a social worker, book a session with a counselor, book a session with a psychologist, not because something is wrong, because you need to debrief.
Yes.
You need to go, woosa. Take some time to say, I need to talk. And it's better to talk to a stranger.
Yes.
Because
you feel safe.
and a professional, because there's confidentiality as well. And there's non-judgmental approach.
Yes.
So when you come to me and you talking to a professional, I will not judge you. I need to take what you're presenting and run with that. So look after your mental health. Your mental health matters. You matter.
Wow.
You are responsible for your mental well-being. Forget about what people will think and say. You are responsible for your mental well-being. Because when you shut down and you break, those people won't be there.
Wow. Thank you so much, Annie, and I hope you've enjoyed today's show. Let's be kind to one another. I think we've seen the past few years have been very tough for different people. Let's be more kind. If there's anything that we can do, it's just be kind with one another. And may God bless you. I hope you've enjoyed today's show. Thank you.